days, the leader of the Tour enjoyed his day off yesterday. Now, as the race heads into the Alps, there's a wind of change as the mountains offer the next challenge. Hello and welcome to the Tour de France. We are now in the mountains. It's 13 days since the riders set off from Spain and now they meet their next big challenge. In fact, we're not too far away from the finishing line here at Saint-Nizier, a bustling little town that nestles in the shadow of the big one, Mont Blanc. The riders heading now for the first mountaintop finish in this year's Tour de France. Now, Pascal Lino has proved a most difficult leader of this Tour to dislodge. He's the fourth rider in line for the leader's yellow jersey. But you know, even Pascal feels time is running out for him, and he even knows who might be the next man to take it from him.
It's me in yellow at the moment, but the big favourite is Miguel Indurain. He's riding as though he's already in yellow, and he and his team are controlling the race. With good reason. He's the big favourite of the Tour after all, the defending champion. In the mountains, it's going to be hard for me to keep up with him. And after that, there's a time trial as well. I think for Miguel, it's going to be plain sailing from now on.
So the GC this morning, the top five looking very familiar. Lino, that 1 minute 27 seconds behind Indurain. Roach is in there in third place. Of the rest, Chiappucci is sixth, Delgado hovering in ninth, Laurent Fignon is 10th, and the disappointment Eric Breukink in 15th position. The rollout this morning in warm, sunny conditions as they wave goodbye to the city of Dole, and the route they face is a difficult one. The highlight of the day, undoubtedly, on this longest stage of the Tour de France, the Col du Saleve, which comes quite a way before the end, but then they have their first hilltop finish at the base of Mont Blanc. Indurain yesterday, 28 years of age. Well, that will make him a much mature man for the battle today. And the scenery in the Tour de France in this sunshine, as always, stunning. The field largely staying together today as they went over the second category climb of the Col du Saleve after 116 kilometres, where Frank Coccioli was the first man over the top, just ahead of Claudio Chiappucci, and Richard Virenque was in third place. But the main field all around them. As we join the action now, we are on the climb of the Col du Saleve, and just going over the top of the climb here, the three leaders in the race, they broke away partway up the climb. They're Jörg Müller, Fabrice Philippot, the Frenchman, and Rolf Jarmann, the Swiss rider. They built a lead of just over a couple of minutes. As we go now to the pictures here, the clock on the left counting down the time of those three riders over the summit, and this is Perini. And Paul, only coming here this morning, we were saying what a great race this man is having in the breakaways every day.
Well, everybody's saying that he's one of the other revelations of this race. He's actually a fairly old rider, and he's not really shined so well, but he's the third man in the Carrera team who is well up there in the overall classification. At the moment, he's lying in 8th place, and he's a big threat, so that's why at the moment, further down the climb, there is a lot of pressure on to chase this man down because he's so close to the overall leaders. They regard him as a threat.
6 minutes and 44 seconds down. And sorry about the bit of picture breakup we're having here. We're out on the top slopes of the Col du Saleve, and quite clearly there is a problem with the atmospheric conditions out there, but they're warm and sunny, believe me, and the pace today has hotted up since the riders came to the base of the Col du Saleve, because before that they seemed content to ride along in a big field, just sprinting for the mountain points. And Chiappucci has scored well today. He won the opening small climb, the Côte de Montaigu, ahead of Coccioli, but the bunch were right on them. They won the next climb as well, another third category climb, the Côte d'Onoz, and then they came up the big one where he had to take second place to Coccioli. But he's scoring well as Perini here just hovers in front of all of the strong men. And the one man that we have not heard mentioned today at all is Greg LeMond in that big chase group.
Well, I haven't heard LeMond's name in the chase group, and I'm just getting some information that LeMond has been dropped from the chase group. He's actually at the moment with Laurent Fignon, who's had bad luck today. Fignon punctured and was given a wheel by one of his teammates. So at the moment, LeMond and Fignon chasing a little bit further down the climb behind this group of 11, 12 riders, where most of the main contenders for the Tour de France are at the moment.
Well, Greg LeMond has fought back from such positions on at least three occasions on this tour. He might well come back on the descent of the Saleve. We're at the top of it now with Perini. He goes over in 4th place, and he goes over 3 minutes and 58 seconds, albeit 4 minutes down on the first 3 riders who have gone over. The 3 leaders, by the way, of no great import. They've taken their chance to slip away from the field because the field really want this man, Perini, and they seem to be holding him at the moment. And these are the 3 leaders on the way down as they make the way off the mountain. Fabrice Filippo, the Benesto teammate of Miguel Indurain, sitting at the back of the field. He won't aid this chase at all, even though the 2 riders are particularly dangerous to him. Rolf Jarmann, former champion of Switzerland, and Jorgi Müller. Jarmann is to the right of our picture. Müller is leading the string through at the moment. And Filippo happy to follow these 2 down the Col du Saleve in extremely good conditions for very quick descending. And the news reaching us now, although we have no cameras with the riders on the way up the Saleve, that Stephen Roche has attacked with Pedro Delgado.
Amazing, but that's one man I've been expecting to mark all the moves. Pedro Delgado, he'll be a trump card, I think, for Miguel Indurain, because he knows that he can accompany any attacks on the climb and put the pressure on the other teams like Gianni Bugno's Gatorade team. They're going to have to chase Delgado because he's an outsider to win the Tour de France with no pressure on him.
As we go through some of the stunning scenery of the Haute-Savoie, we're in the area now where the Olympic Games were held this winter. And tomorrow they will go almost round the venues as they climb through the high mountains of the Alps. This is a very interesting move by Stephen Roche. Despite the severe pain in his back every day, he can hardly walk away from his bicycle when he reaches the finishing line. But this man knows that without that pain he would have superb form, and he's not going to let it affect his riding, that's for sure. Roche again going away. And the bunch descending now at somewhere in the region of 80 to 90 kilometers an hour. Still pedaling down the mountain. A sort of descent which has no real dangers, no severe drops off it. Not like the climbs tomorrow when we go over the Col d'Iseron, which is a col that we have never climbed for over almost 30 years, which means that no rider in this Tour de France has ever climbed that col, and 1 or 2 are going to be in for a very, very big surprise. As we go back up to the leaders, they're trying to control the very frisky Jorgi Müller here. As he goes round those corners, and he's immediately out of the saddle and driving on again. And in fact, it's Rolf Jarmann who was doing that at the front. There's Müller going through now. This is Fabrice Filippo. Not interested at all in setting the pace. He's sent along, and this again identifies the strength of the Benesto team of Miguel Indurain, because here we have the policeman with the breakaway, Fabrice Filippo, sent along to annoy and try and take the stage win. If it has to be forced into a result by these 3, he'll do no work. And further back down the road, we've got Delgado doing exactly the same tactic on Stephen Roche.
Well, now we get some form of clarification of just what's going on. Perini is actually still over 4 minutes behind this group of 3 riders, and at 5 minutes 40, Roche and Delgado are chasing. But then just 20 seconds behind them at 6 minutes is the big group with Claudio Chiappucci, Jean-François Bernard, Indurain, Coccioli, Bugno, Hamston. And a little bit further down, 1.5 minutes behind this group, in fact, is a group containing Greg LeMond and Laurent Fignon. So they're going to have to make a very hard chase to try and get back into the group with the big leaders of the Tour de France.
So as we watch the 3 pacemakers today, none of them affecting the overall lead in the Tour de France. The bad news is that Greg LeMond is on the defensive today. He has to bridge a gap of 1.5 minutes to get back into the main chase group in this year's Tour de France. Otherwise, he will certainly lose it before the end of the day. We'll take a break. And the riders in the Tour de France are now heading towards the Alps at a terrific speed today. This is the situation. 169 riders on the start line this morning. In fact, along with Alex Zula abandoning yesterday during the rest day, William Palaccio also gave up, and so too did the Polish rider Zenon Jaskula. A good high average speed despite the climbs, 36 kilometers an hour. We're still keeping to our record speed in the Tour de France. The yellow jersey today with Pascal Lino. Chiappucci, defending his King of the Mountains, has now 123 points in the lead of that competition. Jalabert has built up a lead in the green jersey on points, 171 points for him in that competition. But the sad aspect of the day, one retirement so far, and just look at these pictures. Charlie Motte, the leader of the RMO team, discussing the situation with the doctor. Apparently he has hepatitis, and I think the decision taken at this moment to retire. The reason, Motte then rode along to his race leader, the man who's led on the team for the last 9 days, and I think probably said, it's no good, I've got to go out of the race, and probably a word of good luck to Pascal Lino. And then the sad sight. Charlie Motte, a double stage winner in the Tour last year, once a yellow jersey wearer himself, has retired today from the Tour de France as we head towards the Alps. And now, as we go back up to the leader, this is Jörg Müller, the man who is out on his own, and the way he's stretching his legs, Paul, it looks to me as though the hot weather has brought about a touch of cramp.
Well, that's what it does. It provokes real bad cramp for a lot of riders, and Muller's been away for a long time, and he's been on this road, this long valley road leading to the bottom of the final climb, and he knows the situation, and this is the situation. The chasing group of 5 riders have now caught Muller, so he's just hopefully can get onto the back of this train and recuperate a little bit before we come up to the finish climb. Perini doing a fantastic job at the front there for Stephen Roche. The gap at the moment, the last time check I had, was the group of 5 were 3 minutes and 24 seconds in front of the peloton. So Stephen Roche is 30 seconds off taking the yellow jersey.
And there's a nice little study of the beautiful climbs and the scenery here in the Alps, and just how high these pieces of granite stand above the riders of the Tour de France. Just look at that. And we've just started the climb now to the finish at Saint-Nizier, and the breakaway has immediately been split by Stephen Roche, piling on the pressure. Roche has gone to the front. Unfortunately, the first man to be dropped off the back was Roche's own teammate, Giancarlo Perini, who had ridden so well up the Col du Saleve, but he's finished now. Delgado is following Stephen Roche, and we've just got 3 riders left in this group of 6, and the other one is Rolf Jarmann.
It's impressive to see this so many years afterwards. It's like watching a replay. Stephen Roche and Pedro Delgado, who fought out the Tours de France in 1987 and 1989, really is incredible. Filippo did a lot of work along the end of the valley there just to make sure that the break stayed clear. As I say, Miguel Indurain is not too worried. There's the confirmation of the gap at the moment. It's 2 minutes and 52 seconds. Filippo actually contributed to the success of this move to try and keep it clear, and I'm sure what Pedro Delgado is waiting for now is for the climb to get a little bit steeper so he can try and jump clear and win the stage.
Well, Delgado has been waiting for a chance to win. Could be a perfect day for him because Roche is totally committed and riding to the limit of his ability. Delgado has not helped at all. He's sat here and watched the moves. He's ridden in the slipstream of Stephen Roche. He must be the freshest now of this trio because Jarmann was in that earlier breakaway as well, and he too must be feeling the pace. The time gap's indicating to us at this minute in time, though, that Stephen Roche has climbed up to 2nd overall on the classification.
That's right, Stephen Roche is 2 minutes and 48 seconds behind Indurain this morning, so if it stays around that time, Stephen will move up into 2nd place overall, but at the moment the gap is coming down quite rapidly. Another interesting point is when Stephen Roche was in that breakaway on the stage to Valkenburg, one of the other riders who was there with him was Rolf Jarmann. And remember that Roche did all the work on the final climb, and Jarmann may well try a surprise attack, but I think morale must be on Delgado's side, and he's just waiting to unleash that fantastic attack that he's got on a climb.
He is riding very, very well indeed, Pedro Delgado, in this Tour, although he's been obliged to limit his attacks because of the efforts of Miguel Indurain. But now he's been allowed his head today. He's played the perfect role as a teammate. He's followed the breakaways. He hasn't helped them. But now I think the message has come up to him that the day is his if he wants it from his Benesto team. And he'll wait until the last moment to make his move. Jarmann is still finding the effort to follow here, although the others have all dropped away. There is the big peloton, and my goodness me, that's grown over these last 30 or 40 kilometres. A lot of riders have come back into the Tour today. And the Carrera team still trying to slow down the move because they want their man Stephen Roche to try and gain a lot of time on the road today.
Looks like Tibaldi, who's done a lot of work in the last few weeks, always at the front. Bontempi there riding extremely well in the mountains in the polka dot jersey. There was Claudio Chiappucci. All the big heads of state here at the front there as Eric Brookink in the white PDM jersey, and not far behind Franco Coccioli.
Inside 5 kilometres to go. Stephen Roche is the rider setting the pace now towards the summit of this mountaintop finish in this year's Tour de France. Followed every pedal rev by Pedro Delgado, who must be the danger for the stage win now. And Ralph Jarmann, the only other survivor of the 6 men who started at the base of this climb.
Roche really putting the pressure. In fact, Delgado is suffering a little bit there. He got some information from his team manager, maybe about the steepness of the inclination. We're coming into the town of Saint-Nizier now, and Roche actually moving away from Delgado.
Well, this is amazing. Delgado has done nothing in this breakaway except follow the wheel of Roche, and Roche is riding like the man we used to know, the man who won the Tours of Italy, the Tour de France, and the World Championship in 1987. The only other rider in the world ever to have done that was the great Eddy Merckx. And look at this, Delgado is in trouble, and Jarmann has found the strength to come round him. But the road here, as we go up through Saint-Gervais, the finish is still about 3 kilometres out. And look at that, Delgado was actually kidding, because he's dropped off and he's gone. He's lay off the back by about 10 metres for the run at Roche. He's taken him. And Jarmann has again found the strength to go with him.
That was brilliant. That was absolutely beautiful. I was really under the impression, and I think the other riders in the breakaway were as well, that Pedro Delgado was extremely tired. That's a fantastic ruse. It worked for Stephen Roche. Roche has been knocked out a little bit, but Jarmann actually fantastically matched the attack by Pedro Delgado here. Now they'll slow down a little bit. Delgado's going to go again. He accelerates again, but again, Jarmann manages to pull out a little bit of strength to find and manage to stay on his wheel, but Delgado has to try and get rid of him before we get to the finish.
And looking back down the field, Titi Clavarola for the Z team and Greg LeMond's team setting the pace at the front. Chiappucci is just behind him in 2nd place. Coccioli was in 3rd slot there. They're the leaders of the main field. They're still over a couple of minutes down the road, though. Stephen Roche sadly not here now, and I think that will mean he will not be 2nd overall by the end of the day. There's those bumps I was telling you about, so to go over them. Jarmann no longer looking to assist Delgado. He knows now that this rider means business today. He's content to follow him, and Delgado keeping his bike in a very high gear for the climb. This is the main field. They are a couple of kilometres away from the finish. Miguel Indurain at the head now, slowing down this field nicely. Chiappucci too, in no hurry to get to the finish now. Miguel Indurain knows that Delgado is up there somewhere. He's just hoping that he is taking the winning flag today. Raul Alcala comes through nearest the camera. This is Pedro Delgado now with about 300 or 400 yards to go. He still has in his slipstream Rolf Jarmann of Switzerland. So Pedro Delgado now trying for a victory. He's rid himself of Stephen Roche. He has yet to rid himself of Rolf Jarmann, and Jarmann may well have the legs today to take the stage win off him and spoil a great day out for the Banesto team, because all of the way up the climb it has been left to the Banesto rider, and now Jarmann goes. Rolf Jarmann and Delgado tried to get rid of him and he couldn't. And now Rolf Jarmann, the former champion of Switzerland, gets his biggest ever victory, a stage win in the Tour de France for him. He ruins the day for Pedro Delgado. Delgado goes over in 2nd position, and the face of Stephen Roche twisted in agony, but again another superb day in the hills for Stephen Roche today. He was attacking on the Col du Saleve. What a shame for Stephen that Delgado spotted his move and stayed with him all the way till he left him behind at the start of the climb up to the finish here. But Roche hasn't conceded too much, and Roche will improve his position overall tonight, that is for sure. It's all a question as to whether he will move into 2nd place and go over Miguel Indurain. Roche in 3rd place, 39 seconds off Jarmann. And these riders have gone clear of the main field on the climb. No big resistance from the leaders of the Tour, because there's nobody here who's going to affect the overall situation at all. They're racing for 6th place, but the bunch is just behind them. As they come up and right fight it out for 6th place on the road. It could well be Espinosa who sprinted away here for 6th place. But looking further back, the riders who matter and will be in the frame tomorrow are taking no notice of this little play being enacted out for 6th place as the riders come in, and the riders snatching it on the line was Acacio da Silva. Here is the sprint now for the lower places, and the yellow jersey, the green jersey rather, oh dear me. And I think Johan Museo might lodge a complaint there for Laurent Jalabert. A clash of wheels as they're fighting out the lowly positions, but that is a tight competition for the green jersey, for the most consistent daily finisher. And Jalabert may find he was at fault there. So as the field trickle in, Stephen Roach again reminds us of what he said a couple of days ago. This tour is not over yet, and we will attack the leader to be Miguel Indurain at every opportunity. Today he did just that, and he took back more time. So a win at last for Rolf Jarmann of Switzerland, just 3 seconds ahead of Pedro Delgado of Spain. Stephen Roach, the man of the day, finishes third, 39 seconds back. Of all of the big names in the Tour de France, apart from Roach, of course, they finished together 2 minutes, 56 seconds down. A very happy Rolf Jarmann on the podium tonight, the former champion of Switzerland, a stage winner now in the Tour. But on this first day in the mountains, another great ride by Stephen Roach, and as soon as he crossed the finishing line, Paul Schoen was fighting out the battle amongst the press to get the first word.
Stephen, this is turning out to be a very tactical race, but you seem to be rising to the occasion again, as you did a couple of years ago.
Well, I was always fairly good as regards tactics. At the moment, I maybe haven't got the condition as the other guys have, because I haven't had a full season in the last 4 years, so I'm kind of lacking a bit of foundation, because I'm a bit under pressure in the mountains, so just got to take the chance when they come, you know.
But today, Delgado rode as a teammate, but you can put yourself in the same position too if Chiappucci goes away.
Well, the problem is Chiappucci won't go. Well, Chiappucci goes away, never goes on his own, so I never have the opportunity to sit in the wheels.
Tomorrow's a very hard stage. We're going over some very big climbs. You've got a problem with your back. Do you think it's going to be a major problem for you, or will you get through?
Well, it's maybe a general problem. You know, I am the last few days, except for yesterday, I haven't been great in the mountains. Like, I feel I'm a little under pressure in the mountains because of my back and that, but just every day is another day, so I'll see what comes tomorrow.
A look now at the provisional overall classification tonight, and there are significant changes. Stephen Roach remains in third place, but he's closed the gap on the race lead. He's now just 1 minute and 58 seconds behind. Pedro Delgado has moved up into fourth place. Greg LeMond is in fifth. And of the others, Gianni Bugno is sixth, and Claudio Chiappucci is seventh. The Tour de France now will enact its battles in the high Alps starting tomorrow. We go over the giant Col du Saleve and into Sestria in Italy. On Sunday, we go to the top of Alpe d'Huez. Don't forget the quiz. Try and predict the winner of the stage on Sunday, and you could win the leader's yellow jersey of the Tour de France. This is the telephone number. I'm afraid it's too late now for postcards if you haven't already entered. The number is 0891 500 112. Well, today it was the former Swiss champion Rolf Jarmann who was first home, but make a note of the fact that Delgado is back and Stephen Roach keeps on trying. They both improved their position tonight in the Tour de France. But the big challenges now lie just around the corner. They know it, we know it. We'll see you tomorrow. Goodbye.